So welcome back to the Contagious League. That is the name of the asteroid ant farm colony base that we got started in the first episode. And before I get started here, I just want to say big thank you to everybody who commented on the first video and liked it. Really appreciate the support. I have to be honest, I did not expect to get quite as many views on this game since it's a little bit older and never really was a blockbuster game to begin with, but I'm pleased to see that there are at least a few fans of it out there. So anyway, I'm excited to continue on, and I think for this episode, a couple priorities that we want to have here are obviously we want to finish the power station here. We want to get our first gosh, I forget the name of it now, the coal generator built, and that way we can get some automated power instead of having our dupes spending their time running on the hamster wheel here. And then also, I think what we really would like to do is to get our mess hall set up. It's going to be a mess hall at first. It will later on grow into becoming a great hall, which gives a very nice +6 morale bonus. The mess hall itself gives a +3, which is not too shabby. So we want to get that built. That's a little bit of a priority. We want to make sure that we get enough plants growing, particularly the mealwood here for starters. We want to get enough of them going that we can sustain our dupes for a while, and we definitely don't have enough at this point. I believe what I noticed was that we are consuming actually 2,000 calories per dupe per day, as opposed to the 1,000 that happens on regular difficulty. And additionally, one of our dupes, I forget now which one it is, bottomless stomach here, so it's Frankie the farmer, he actually consumes even more than that. So we gotta do a better job of getting ourselves a good amount of kilocalories. Now, one thing that we would really like to do is to get a cook, and that is obviously going to be a priority, but it's very dependent on what is available to us every 3 cycles when we get a chance to print a new dupe or get some resources. So we will look for a cook, basically first dupe that comes along that is interested in cooking as an interest, then we're definitely going to want to take them. But we can survive for a little while even without a cook, because we can eat the raw meal lice, which is not great, but it will sustain us. And we can have a non-professional cook still run the microbe musher to produce a little bit in the way of what are called mush bars here, which is a delicious concoction, a mix of dirt and water. Does that not sound absolutely delicious? So we may end up having to eat a little bit of that for a little while, but let's go ahead and get started. I think our dupes already have a few assignments to do, so no reason to not keep talking while we're actually working here. We're doing okay otherwise. We have obviously a very inefficient grouping of dupes right now, but that was to be expected. I think what we want to do, let's go ahead and basically everywhere we can, let's get some more plants. What are these called? Planter boxes? Yeah, some more planter boxes going. And somebody did mention that actually it's a mistake of mine to believe that it is not worthwhile to dig out those, I shouldn't call them oxalates, because oxalates are actually the toxins that are in some plants. Oxalites, that is actually perfectly fine to go ahead and dig out the oxalates. So we'll do that, and we're doing fine from an oxygen standpoint anyway. Okay, and are we doing some research? We are. I forget what we are researching, however. We are researching, this is good. So this is the coal generator that we're going to want. Following that, then, we're going to want to do meal preparation. And this right here, the mess table, is what we can get from that. With the mess table, we'll be able to start creating our mess hall here. So Joshua the Doc earned a skill point. That's good. So let's go ahead and assign him. Now, obviously, he's he can be more useful at doing other things before doctoring because we have no real need for a doctor right now. But I want to make sure that from a morale standpoint that we keep our dupes under control, which means I want them to have very specific responsibilities before we start going overboard with giving them too many different skills. So he's going to go ahead and put on his awesome looking doctor hat. As you can see, he's thrilled by this. Wastes so much time, but it's still awesome. Okay, so he looks like he's ready for the OR. We just don't have an OR for him to do anything in. Now okay, this is going to take a very long time for this manual generator to fill up these batteries, so we may end up lowering this threshold. This determines how much power has to be in these batteries for a dupe to decide it's necessary for them to go ahead and keep running the generator here. But I'm only going to change that if it starts to look like we're falling behind on some of our other tasks, because I don't mind the idea of getting a nice charge in all of those for right now. And we do want to go ahead and build more planter boxes. Let's see here. We have 7 already. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We want another 7, and I am going to go ahead and put a roof over those. Let's go ahead and cancel that for now. No, let's go ahead and make it a nice, clean looking room. I may put a door there. I'm not sure yet, but we don't need that last row, that last column right there. And we probably don't need to be disinfecting these outhouses every time, but what we do need to do is we do need to bump up the priority on them, because you can see it says this one has 4 visits remaining, this one has 7 visits remaining. I like how they put visits in quotes. And then at that point, they're going to have to be cleaned out. We won't go into details about what that entails, but let's go ahead and dig out that entombed planter box there. But anyway, so these are going to have to regularly get cleaned out manually because we don't have plumbing going for right now, which is fine, but it's just one more thing for our dupes to stay on top of. So we want to make sure that we've got kind of everything balanced, that they're doing all of the essential jobs around the base before we go overboard with giving them too many additional jobs. We've got 2 of them sleeping, that's fine. That guy doesn't have power, but that's fine. We are getting the insufficient oxygen generation message, and that's because our different apologize there for the phone going off. Anyway, so our oxygen diffusers here are not yet connected to the power network, so let's make sure we do that. This one needs a wire. That one will have a wire, and this one will have a wire as well. So that's all set up. You just have to finish building them. This right here, this is a little trickier. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that this room is enclosed, but because we need to get over here to build the ceiling for this room down here, okay, this is very important. Choose a blueprint. Cooking. Look at that. That is exactly what we needed. Now, narcoleptic is awful, okay? But that's what we expected, so we're just going to have to deal with that. So, and he's got a super duper hard digging skill, but again, not going to be real useful to us because we've already got a digger, and I'm not going to set him to be our digger, not while there's cooking to do. So this is going to be Nicola, the chef. We're definitely going to choose him. We're going to print him, and I'm going to pause for a second because now that we have a 5th dupe, we have to expand our barracks. Let's go ahead and do that. That might be all we are going to... all the dupes that we're going to have for the time being, because we're already so far behind on getting enough calories for all of our dupes that the more dupes you add, the more likely we are to start having some starvation, and we really don't want that. So what we're going to do, we've got a bed for... let me actually build the cot here. So we're going to have a bed for him. We don't yet have the mess hall built, so we don't have to worry about that. But then I actually do want to make sure that this is going to be all enclosed when we get this far. So let's do that. This is going to be our mess hall. And as I was starting to say over here, this bathroom needs to be enclosed in order to get recognized as a washroom. So what we're going to do for now is we're just going to build a pneumatic door right here, and we have to allow access over to here in order to be able to basically reach these tiles to be able to dig them out and then build the ceiling for this room right here. Okay, so this is all good. We've got a number of assignments created. That's going to take a little while. Now the priority is going to be food. So let's go back here to our schedule. First of all, let's go ahead and give... we can have 3 per shift here. Since Nicola is appearing right here, I think he's a good candidate for now for the night shift. Now we can shift this around later, particularly if we end up with some dupes that actually receive benefits at certain times of day, which does happen. So he's going to be on that shift. By the time by the time he is ready to go to sleep, we should have that cot built for him, so that's good. And then his priorities. This is going to be extremely important. We want him to be doing the cooking right here. He's our one and only cook, and I don't want to make anything else a priority for him for the moment because we want him to focus on that for sure. And okay, and let's also give him his skill, because I mentioned last time everybody except for the original 3 starts with 1 skill. Let's go ahead and give him grilling. He's going to put on his hat right away. That'll be great. And then he's going to run down here, and we are going to have him start making... we're going to give this priority 6. We're going to have him start making some mush bars. So we want 2 mush bars for everybody. And then we want, additionally, at some point, but probably not quite yet, we want to stop people from consuming the meal lice, and we want him to start converting the meal lice into, what's it called, lice loaf. However, that's a little bit less of a priority because we need to get extra calories produced as soon as possible. I don't want him... I don't want to go ahead and worry about... well, you know what? It actually doesn't matter because we don't have any meal lice available yet. So we'll go ahead and set this as well. So what we're going to do is we're basically going to say from now on, every meal lice that is created, we want it to be converted into lice loaf. And then to match that, we want to take consumables and we want to say, boom, nobody eat any meal lice anymore. Instead, we want everybody to wait until it is turned into lice loaf. Okay, let's go ahead and get started here. All right, everybody, let's copy settings. Let's go ahead and get some more of those planted, if we have any. Some more here. I guess we don't have any because that's why we have the... No, they just haven't been delivered yet. Okay. Copy settings. We want those to all be as well. Why is... oh, okay, so not only do we need to plant them there, but we need to, every once in a while, I guess once per cycle, we need to throw some dirt on them. That's all they require to grow, which is really important because later on, when we start growing the, well, as we are doing already, these bristle blossoms, they actually require water to grow. And another priority that I would like to do is actually to get this pitcher pump out of the way so we can start building over here. Now the way to do that, okay, so we finished the coal generator. That's really good. Okay, we're already starting to fall behind now in all the stuff that we have to do. But it's okay. We'll catch up here in a minute. We got our coal generator there. We got our wire planted here. We've got enough battery power that I'm actually going to disable this building for now, so no dupes are tempted to get on that hamster wheel. Instead, they can focus on doing other things. Let's go ahead and get this prioritized. And, we're up to 8,000 calories. So one of the nice things is as we're doing digging, you can see this little symbol in so many of the different tiles before we dig. That means there's an object hidden inside this tile, and it only appears once you dig it out. Well, luckily in the early going, a lot of these early resources have hidden muck roots, which is this plant right here. But when you dig it out of a tile like that, it doesn't have to be, it's already a loose muck root, and those are edible. So that's why our food numbers are going up even while we're not actively producing more food. There we go. We got some mush bars being created. We want to make sure that our edible food, like the muck root and the mush bars and the nutrient bars, we want them to all be going into here because it's nice and conveniently accessible to what is going to become our mess hall. And clear new, there we go, okay. So he's gonna keep making them, and then somebody else is gonna run along, pick it up, run it over here, and drop it off there. Then I forgot to start a new research. We definitely want to research that. And okay, let's go ahead and speed things up a little bit here. Building our coal generator, that's good. So we have coal down here, not oxalate. I don't need the oxalate to be there. Let's go ahead and make the coal, storing the coal there, a little bit of a higher priority. We won't leave it that way, but we want to get a nice little stockpile stored there. And we want this to be a priority because we do want to have that cot available for good old Nicola the chef when it's time for him to go to sleep. Okay, so as long as we stay, you know, above about... As long as we stay above 5,000 kilocalories, we're okay. They're not in imminent danger of starving, but really our goal is to get above 10,000. Give ourselves some cushion, because that's a full day's supply of food then for all of our dupes. Later on we have other options, like there are some animals here, like this hatch, that we could kill for meat, and then later on we'll be able to cook that meat into... what it's called, barbecue maybe, something like that, or that might be an advanced form of an advanced recipe for meat. But anyway, that'll be something that we can do. But also the hatches will lay eggs, and that will we can use an egg cracker in order to crack those eggs and then cook up some omelets as well. So we got lots of different variations of food that we can do in this game. Let's go ahead and get this wire prioritized as well. I keep clicking here, thinking... There's wire. Okay, yeah, let's prioritize that. Attribute increase, okay. So one good thing is the more they do some running around, the more they level up their athletic skill. I believe they also can improve athletic skill by riding on the manual generator here. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to actually set this really low because we only have 3 batteries and not that many things using energy right now. So if we let this run non-stop, we'll burn through our coal supply very inefficiently. Okay. How are we looking here? Do we have our cot? We do have our cot. This is still an effective barracks. This is still an effective washroom. Okay. Waiting for the research to get done. I completely lost track of whatever I was saying previously about, you know, the thing I was talking about. I'm sure we'll come back to it at some point. There's just an awful lot to juggle in this game. So even though there's not combat in this game, it is still a game that definitely, it definitely makes you use your brain a lot. You have to think kind of quickly and juggle a lot of different things that are going on at one time. I guess I could go ahead and slow the speed back down to normal. And we want to stay away from this area for the time being because, number one, it's warmer over here. It's not very hot quite down there. It's very hot up there. And we don't want heat to be seeping into our base any more than necessary. But also, it'll be a while before we'll be able to effectively make use of this natural gas geyser. I think I was probably talking about the different cooking apparatuses. So if we look here, we can see an electric grill is the next option for us. That is going to allow us to cook the meat of the hatches. And I believe that is also what allows us to turn our bristle blossoms into... I can't remember the name of the food that you can make out of bristle blossoms. They can eat the fruit that comes off of these bristle blossoms, but it's a little bit more effective and a little bit better from a morale perspective if they eat not the raw fruit, but a cooked version of it. So, how are we looking here on oxygen? This one's not running yet because it's not connected yet. We did get another athletics bump on one of our dupes. And the really nice thing is when Ashkin the scientist gets a bump in his athletics, you know, he'll move from -5, you know, all the way up towards 0. And when he gets to 0, he'll actually move at normal speed, which will still be slower than all the other dupes at that point, but it's much, much better than what he's doing right now. So here we have the electric grill and the egg cracker. Let's go ahead and keep doing research, because everything in the early going is very predicated on research. I think what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and do the colony development line, the beginning of it, which allows us to do the water cooler, which we'll need for the, not the mess hall, but the, whatever the next step up from mess hall is called. But then even more importantly is this will allow us to build the supercomputer, which we're going to need to research any of the technologies beyond these first 2 columns here. And as you can see, there are plenty of them. So no reason to not keep going towards that. And in the meantime, let's go ahead and build our electric grill right here. Let's go ahead and get it connected. And let's go ahead and build our mess tables in here. I think we want to leave 1 tile here for the refrigerator, and then let's just go ahead and build our 5 mess tables for everyone else. This is very good. We now have some of our plants actually getting ready for the harvest. And how are we looking here? Okay, so we've gone from... Oh, he's already making his first lice loaf. Very good. Let's go ahead and make some more of these because, as you can see, we're running very low on calories. But the good news is we're going to start to get more and more lice loaves coming out. So we'll take a look here. He's produced that first lice loaf. We do want to get that moved into our ration box up there. Later on, we will replace this ration box with the refrigerator. But also, we do want to make sure that everybody knows that it is safe to eat lice loaf, and they do. So whenever a new food pops up for the first time within the base, it appears on here, and you get to identify whether or not you want your dupes to be eating it. So they will eat the lice loaf, and that's what we want for now. When we get our first bristle blossom, whatever the fruit of that is called, we're going to want to turn that off probably and not have them eat that, because instead we want them to be eating the cooked version of it. And you can see right here, this is an example of Joshua the doc? Joshua the doc is having to clean out this toilet. It is not usable right now. This one right here still has 4 visits remaining before it gets cleaned. And it takes a very long time to clean these, so it does become very, very much more efficient to have a plumbed bathroom, but it's just going to be a little while before we can take on that project. Okay, so I did mention before I wanted to basically lower the water level here, get it lowered down so we can move this pitcher pump so that we're not blocking this area right here, which is prime real estate for building. So I think it's okay to go ahead and do that. What I may do is, let's go ahead and dig over to here for now. Build a pathway over to here. Then we're going to build a ladder here, down like this. And then we're going to want to dig out all of this. Let me just look at the temperature and make sure that this is an okay... Yeah, we don't want to go too far over here because it starts getting hot, and we don't want our water to get hot. But it's okay like that. If we dig all this out, we want to dig those two because that's sand. It will collapse on its own. We want to dig all this out, and this can be... it's still going to be a temporary reservoir, I believe, but it's a better location for our water supply than this one right here is. So we'll do all that, and then we will build a pitcher pump right here. And then we will go ahead and, why not, let's build a floor leading across, particularly because they can't reach it right now. There's that gap right there. So, okay. Again, probably not a great place for it permanently, but it's better than this. And meanwhile, you can see how long it takes when you got so many different assignments going on at the same time. It takes them quite a long time to get around to doing some of the tasks that are not prioritized for them. So those wires have been ready to be built for a very long time, and yet they haven't done it yet. These mess tables are probably going to sit there unbuilt for a little while because I haven't prioritized it. And one more thing that I do want to do, okay, water cooler and crafting station. Let's go ahead and set up where we're going to want the water cooler to go. Let's go ahead and put it there for now. And, okay. One thing that we want to do, I'm thinking we want to start setting up a place for some good storage. In fact, this area right here, I think, might be a really good place to do it. So, as soon as we can, which is not going to be until we get... This is the refrigerator right there. So we need the agriculture before we can build the refrigerator. But when we can build the refrigerator, we are going to want to replace this ration box with a refrigerator. Until then, in anticipation of that, we're going to decide that this is where we want to put some storage. And so basically all that means is picking up all of these resources that are all over the floor everywhere. We don't want to leave everything on the floor because that's a big part of the problem with our decor, with all the red here, is that it's really ugly to have all these loose materials sitting on your floor. So we're going to go ahead and build a row of storage bins here. Now, we don't need that many for starters. We just need, I'll do 3 for now. Later on, when we destroy this ration box, I will move these tiles up to here and have a nice, clean-looking row. And I think what we'll probably do, actually, let's do 4 here. I'll do a 5th one right here. I can't do it right now because the ration box is in the way, but I will eventually put it there. And then we'll, every 5 storage boxes, we will then put a little bit of a decoration so that it's not just pure ugliness. Okay. How are we looking down here? I forgot to mention this last time, but I meant to. Every once in a while you'll see them stop what they're doing down here in order to catch their breath. And that's because when we look at the breathable air, go ahead and I'm going to pause it again for a second here. Okay, so the red, as you can see from the overlay here, the red is unbreathable. The blue is breathable, but it's not ideal. And then obviously the very light blue is the very breathable. So this is one reason why we're putting our living quarters up here, is because we definitely want our dupes to be able to have good air to breathe while they are sleeping. This game does keep track of things like that, and it does affect your morale, and I'm not sure if it affects anything beyond morale, but it is important to make sure that they get a good night's sleep. They might actually, if they get a bad night's sleep, it'll slow down their, it'll reduce the amount of effective work time that they have each cycle, I believe. I don't remember exactly what the effects are, but I know it's important to get a good night's sleep. Not just in real life, but also in Ant Farmville. So that's something to keep an eye on, is to have good oxygen up here. So how do we do that? Well, this coal generator, unfortunately, is going to be producing carbon dioxide, and as we can see here, we've already got plenty of carbon dioxide. If we look at the materials overlay, you can hover over each of these tiles and it tells you what the dominant material is in that tile. So we got lots and lots of carbon dioxide down here. So how do we deal with carbon dioxide? Well, in the short term, until we have more efficient methods of dealing with it, basically we just bury it further into the earth. So I want to make sure I don't get down too far into the hotter area, and I especially want to make sure that we avoid the area with slime mold. But we have a little bit of capacity to dig down this direction, and basically we're just going to do this. We're going to dig enough to allow carbon dioxide to flow down here, because it's better down here where we're not working. We don't want it up here where we are working. Okay, let's go ahead and start the action again. Okay, how are we doing on food? Very, very poorly on food, but that's because our cook right here, our chef, is not working. Oh, he's narcoleptic. This is going to be a real problem for us. He's right now maybe the most important dupe in our entire base, and because of his narcolepsy, he's just going to keep falling asleep. Nothing that can be done about it. That's just part of the fun of having the type of a playthrough that we have chosen to do. It just adds character to them, right? Let's go ahead and, for just the sake of accessibility, let's go ahead and let our dupes be able to get up here from this extension of the ladder. They've already gotten the capability to get up there. That's good. Wow, he really slept for a lot longer than I expected. Okay, and somebody got food poisoning from a germ-covered mush bar. That's really bad as well. And that was Nicola the chef. Great. So he's not only going to be narcoleptic, but he's also going to be sick. Look at this. He's already... Wow, this is going to be a real problem. Okay, it is what it is. He's got a sore back because he didn't sleep in the cot, even though... Oh, he didn't sleep in the cot, of course, because we did not prioritize the floor. So that cot is actually not usable right now. Dagnab. Well, that's on me. Okay. So he's got a sore back, which affects his effectiveness working. He's got food poisoning, which means every once in a while he's going to get sick and not be able to work. I think he might have to run to the bathroom whenever he gets sick, so that's bad. And then additionally, he's got narcolepsy, so he's going to stop working every once in a while just to lie down and sleep. So lots and lots of problems right now with Nicola the chef, but he's all we've got. So we're going to just do the best we can with it. And meanwhile, somebody needs to... Oh, okay. Again, same problem down here. You need to build floor underneath all of the buildings before they are usable. So that's a priority as well. We still have insufficient oxygen generation, so we need to get this built as well. We need this to start functioning. And then on top of all that, we really need to dig out a means for our carbon dioxide to get down there. So a lot going on, and inefficiently, I meant to actually disable this building before he burned through all of this coal, but it's fine. We got 5 tons. It's okay for now. Okay, let's go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Digging that. Dug out those floors, or built up those floors. Got everything functioning here. Got that cot available, so that's good. Okay. This is not really a priority. This is a nice to have, so I didn't set any of that to a 6. Let's go ahead and slow it back down again. Research, okay. Now we have our supercomputer that we can build. I'm going to go ahead and build the supercomputer here, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to change the priority of it to a 4, because it's not a priority right now to get that built. We just wanted to place it so that we know where it's going to be. And then start thinking about the next research that we want to do. I think probably the most important thing we're going to want to do, plumbing is a high priority, but before we even get to plumbing, we want this interior decor, because there's 2 things we want out of it. We want this flower pot, and we want this ceiling light. The ceiling light we're going to put up over some bristle blossom plants somewhere down here in order to allow them to grow, because if you remember last time we talked about how they need light to grow, so that's why the only ones that we have right now are within the radius of the light being produced by the printing pod there. Okay. Alright. And I sure hope nobody is trying to learn this game from watching my videos, because this is absolutely not the most effective way to build a base. And especially to have your dupes work in a complementary fashion. So we have construction skill raised for Joshua the Dock. That's good. Let's go ahead and I think speed things up again a little bit, because I've got to stop giving more orders, because there's plenty of things that we really need them to get done that we've already assigned them to. Now you may ask yourself, why did I decide to build the ladder right here? I could have moved it over 1 more. I could have moved it further in, but anyway, I wanted to remind myself actually that this is the place to build the wall. We didn't want the wall to be, well, we could have built it here, I suppose, but it's good there as well. But anyway, we need to make sure that we've got a wall built. No. Okay, the reason we didn't want to do it here is because when you build a wall, you want to make sure that there's a buffer for when you dig out these tiles. Otherwise, the water will start spilling out before you get the actual wall built. If that makes sense. You got to be very careful with water, because quite naturally it will flow wherever it can. You have to make sure it's contained quite well. Okay, so we got that research complete. I went ahead and slowed it back down to normal speed. I think what I might do for the time being is actually not do any more research for the moment, because there's no more priorities, and we can let Ashkin the scientist actually help out on some other things that need to be happening right now, because we're falling behind on a lot of them. Now this right here, I'm not worried about it being perfectly enclosed, because there is no room right now here that we that we want to turn this into. We could potentially at some point turn it into a greenhouse, but that requires a farm station, and we're quite far away from being able to do that. And I don't know, this is probably not where we're going to want to set up the greenhouse anyway. We can see here that Ashkin the scientist improved his skill by +1, so that's actually really good. So he has gone now from athletics of -5 to an athletics of -4, which is actually, you know, an appreciable improvement from running at -50% run speed. Still not good, but he'll slowly be less and less, what's the right word? Inefficient, let's just say. Okay. Anything? I'd better just, like, take my hands off the keyboard here for a few minutes. I keep being tempted to build new things, and we really need to let people finish the jobs that we've already assigned. We've got this polluted dirt, and I'm leaving this here for now because we will eventually want a place to convert this polluted dirt into regular dirt. But I don't want it moved anywhere for the time being. Also, I did meant to find out, how did somebody get their hands on a dirty lice loaf? They must have, like Nicola the chef, he must have somehow had germs on his hands when he was cooking, or else we used dirt that had germs. Try not to think how disgusting this is, because the only dirt with germs are the ones that we would have gotten here out of the washroom, I think. Anyway, somehow or another, it was probably because somebody ran through and didn't wash their hands. And that's bad. That spreading of germs is a real problem. We're already running way below maximum efficiency in this colony. We don't want to further cripple ourselves by getting sick all the time. Particularly because we have some dupes who are extremely susceptible to getting sick. Okay, so right now we don't want to select a research. We have a building that lacks resources, of course, that's fine. We have more problem. Okay, we have building entombment. Where is this? So this happens when sand drops on top of another building. That's fine. This, we want to go ahead and make this permanently open. And, okay, it's going to take a little while for us to get more and more meal lice available to turn into lice loaves, so we just need to keep producing more of these absolutely dreadful mush bars for people to eat, because eating dreadful mush bars is still superior to starving to death. Let's see how long the food poisoning is going to last. It's going to last another 1.5 cycles. It's going to be a while. Okay, so choose another blueprint. All right, so here we go. We have a chance to print another dupe, which ordinarily we might want to do. This yokel is not, it's not great, but it's not a bad weakness to have for a dupe. However, we really don't want to print any more dupes because we already have some serious food issues. We'll take the water. Water is more valuable than sand. Oh, and we can see here, okay, so we got our first hatchling egg. One thing we could do for food, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Partly to illustrate it, but partly because another food source is always a good thing right now. So we're going to build an egg cracker here. Let's go ahead and prioritize building it. And then the egg cracker, we're going to tell it to crack an egg, and then we're going to be able to, once this gets plugged in, first of all, we want to make this priority 7. So the electric grill makes better food than the microbe musher. So what we want to do, we've got the microbe musher set to a priority of 6, so we want the electric grill to be a priority of 7. So whenever there is something to make on the electric grill, that's going to get prioritized ahead of the microbe musher. However, this wire has to get built first before we can... seem to have a real difficult time. There it is. We want that wire to get built before we can use this electric grill. Okay, now it can be built. So, mush fry. This is good. Forever. Turn all of our mush bars, excuse me. Turn all of our mush bars into mush fry. And that means turning off... Where is the... There's the mush bar. Okay, this is a little bit of a risk because we're running really low on food. Come on, Nicola, you can... Okay, good man. Oh, no, 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 no. Not a good time to be falling asleep, Nicola. If somebody... We'll get a message if somebody is in an imminent danger of starvation, and if that is the case, we can unlock consumables to allow them to eat something that we would prefer them not to eat, like that mush bar. This will start going faster once he improves his cooking skills, so at least we have that to look forward to. Look how slow Ashkin is. Wow. Okay, we got a harvest ready right there, so that's a good thing. In fact, Ashkin is up there getting ready to harvest it. That's good. And this right here, that is a muck root that we can eat as soon as we dig it up. So that'll be a good thing. Let's go ahead and add mush fry here to the list of things to put in that. And also lice loaf. Not meal lice loaf we want in that ration box. Okay. Alright, let's go ahead and speed up a little bit. We do have a hatch here, and as I mentioned, in an emergency we could kill the hatches. Did I build the... Yes, I did build the... Okay, so let's go ahead and do... We have one hatchling egg, and let's go ahead and turn that one hatchling egg... Let's go ahead and slow back down again. Let's go ahead and turn that one hatchling egg into an omelet. We're at 0 calories. That's not where we want to be. Okay. I think what happened really quickly is somebody flashed the starvation, but we're now up to 2,000 mush fry, so there we go. So we were at 0 only because it was waiting for the delivery to happen. So yes, Joshua very temporarily there got the warning that he was getting close to starvation, which I believe means that they dropped below 1,000 calories here. And luckily we had some food available, so the instant he was worried about starvation, he was able to find some food and go ahead and eat it. Colony achievement, what did we get here? We got, it's not raw. Have a duplicate eat any cooked meal prepared at an electric grill or gas range. Well, that mush fry that he just ate was the first of those. The first of many. Have we harvested? Yes, we did harvest that lice loaf, or that meal lice, so that's good. So we now have a supply of food ready for Nicola here to just keep pumping out. Let's go ahead and clear new. I'm going to go ahead and see all here, and I'm going to go ahead and mark the fertilizer and the polluted dirt as things to keep track of. I think that's all we need for now. This right here is really a priority. There's no need to race through any, or is not a priority, I should say. The opposite of a priority. Okay, and we should actually, I want to check the oxygen levels here again. So We can see it's still red down here, but it's dropped down a little bit, but not as much as we would want. The light blue is still, we'd like the light blue to at least get to this level. So what I'm going to do, we just need more room for some more carbon dioxide. And the way to do that is to just dig up more tiles down here for now. And they can't reach from this floor way down here, so what we're going to do is, it's called a ladder, but I like to think of this as scaffolding. It's very temporary. Temporarily build some scaffolding, which will allow them to dig out those tiles there. And let me just make sure that none of this is particularly hot yet. So we're safe in doing that. Okay, so we're accomplishing some of our goals in this episode. Not quite as much progress as I might have hoped. We don't have the mess hall built yet. We don't have our storage bins built yet. Priority is absolutely food right now. At least we got our cook. And he may not be the world's best chef, but at least he's functional some of the time. Just not a lot. Is he going to bed now? No. What is he doing? Oh, I think he just... Oh, he was hungry. He has to eat, okay. No problem. Let's go ahead and I think we want the extra boost to morale by getting this room built. That's really all we need to be able to turn this into a mess hall. And that mess hall will give us a +3 to... I think it's +3, yeah, +3 to morale. So that'll be good. Alright, let's just hope people can survive until Nicola wakes up, because he's sleeping right now. His food poisoning, how close are we to getting done with that? 0.6 cycles, so that's good. Let's take a look at the germs. I don't see germs spreading everywhere, so that's good. I don't see germs inside this. There's one lice loaf that has a single germ on it. That's fine. I don't think that's going to make anybody sick. We now are well underway to getting this mess hall built. Slowly but surely. We're getting there. Speed it up a little bit again. How are we looking down here with our... We got lots more mush bars to make. Oh, wait a minute. Let's make this a 6 as well, because we need to crack that egg and turn it into an omelet. In fact, I'm going to make this a 7. I don't know if this is considered a cooking task to do that, so I'm not sure if it has to be Nicola to crack the egg. Well, still don't know, but it's fine. He did go ahead and do it. Okay, we slowed down again. So now that we have an egg, that makes available to us the recipe of omelet, and we want to make omelets whenever possible. And that'll help a lot. Omelets are good. Omelets provide, a single omelet provides 2,800 calories, which is more than twice as much as those mush fries. Now, had we let that egg fully develop, it would have eventually hatched into another hatchling, which would grow up to become a hatch. But there will be plenty more opportunities for that. Eggshell, I'm going to go ahead and leave the eggshell there. The bristleberry, we want... Okay, here we go. Consumables. Raw egg, we do not want to be eaten. Bristleberries, we do not want to be eaten. I don't think... Wait a minute, is bristleberry the... Yeah, no, bristleberries are what we will turn into... Gristleberry, there we go. We want gristleberries forever and ever. Okay, so every time we get a bristleberry, we want it turned into a gristleberry. There he goes, falling asleep again. Oh well, it is what it is. Patience. Okay, we've got our mess hall built. There we go, mess hall, +3 morale for everyone, that's good. Starvation, that's not good. Frankie the farmer, there's... Okay, the only reason that message is staying there for now is because he was in the middle of occupying an outhouse, but now that he is done washing his hands, he'll have no problem finding some food and eating it, so we're okay. We kind of skirted around, we kind of danced with starvation a little bit, but I think we're going to be able to avoid it. Getting closer and closer to the 10,000 number, and that will make me feel much better. Alright, well, we're starting to have to think about winding down this episode, but we did make some progress. Didn't accomplish everything I wanted to. I did want to relocate this, which means basically it means getting all this water down here moved to down here, but really not a priority. We got as far as placing the supercomputer, but not building it yet. We do have our cook, which is huge. You know, that's really big for us. Let's go ahead and put the omelet here. And for consumables, we just want to make sure, yes, people know that they can eat the omelet, so that's good. We've got our mess hall built, so we made some real tangible progress, I feel like, in this episode. And I think what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and let this run to the morning while I give it one more last look-see. Plenty of things for them to work on when we start the next episode, so I'm not going to assign any new tasks at this point. We will get a fresh start then in the morning, and I don't see anything, so okay, we do have, this is good though, we do have some blossom seeds available, so when we do actually start getting some light set up, I'm actually going to go ahead and do this. I said I wouldn't, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. We're going to go ahead and get a place set up for our whatchamacallit, bristle, what do they call it? Bristle blossoms? Bristle blossoms, yes. So we want to be able to build some bristle blossoms, which for right now, that means putting a ceiling light right here. Now, that's only going to reach 5 of these, but later on we'll be able to, well, you'll see what will happen. We'll eventually be able to hit 7 with this light. But okay, anyway, that I think is going to be all for the next episode. So thanks again, everybody, for your comments. This is great. We just saw that Nicola, the chef, has no longer got food poisoning, so that's a good milestone for him. And yeah, please keep the comments coming. Any suggestions are welcome. Any other feedback is welcome. And thanks everyone for watching. I will see you in the next episode.